Hey everyone, it's Zach here, and today we're going to be talking about my Harbor Freight welder. Now, I've had a lot of questions about this welder. It just sits alone in the corner down there, and for whatever reason, the last month or so, I've had a few questions on it, and so we're going to talk about it. People are wondering, is it any good? Should we get it? What's the case? So, let's just get right down to it. Little history here. The reason why people are asking me this is they know that I've welded for a living for around 7 years now. I went to school before that to become a welder, so I do have some background in welding. Um, and I guess that's why they're curious what I think about this machine. But I bought this at a parking lot sale at Harbor Freight for 85 bucks, somewhere in there, because I wanted to do some exhaust work, and that is about all this machine is good for, is that light duty stuff. So it requires a 20 amp outlet. Most outlets are 15 amp in your general at home life. So you need like a heavier outlet. And if you're going to run an extension cord, you got to keep that in mind too, because that's a big deal for these machines. They draw power and they need power. So if you don't have a heavy extension cord that will work for this, keep that in mind. If you're wondering, like, why is my machine not working right? It's probably normally the power supply issue. So with that being said, I welded up some exhaust with this. I've put a few pounds of wire through it, and really I would say that this, as far as this goes, something like exhaust tubing is perfect for this. Real light gauge stuff. And if you're going to go heavier, you probably want to preheat it. It's claiming it can weld 3/16 plate. I tried welding some 1/8 inch and was not happy with my results. It takes 030 wire and 035 wire flux core. See that right there? Gives these predetermined settings, which I would say that the wire speed at 9 or 9.5, that is a lot of wire for this machine. I would not recommend that. But I really wish that this thing would be set up for 023. 023 is even lighter gauge, and I think it would be hotter and a little bit more enjoyable to weld with. But pretty simple display. On, off, min, max, wire speed. Typical what you would get for this price point. And really, if you had to stick some things together that weren't super important, like you're not going to weld a lawnmower blade back together or something, this would work okay. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you to buy a Lincoln or a Miller or a Hobart or anything like that. When I started welding, Hobart and ESOB were like the off-brand that everybody would buy. And what I've noticed is prices have gone way up. And brand-wise, Hobart and ESOP are really getting up there. People are starting to run Hobart in shops now, like big name shops, and ESOP, big name shops. It's not just Lincoln and Miller anymore. So what I have found is a couple guys from work, they have side hustles where they weld in their shop. And they both bought these welders. They're branded Yes Welder. They're blue, and it's just like, look it up on Amazon, Yes Welder. They're nice. They have a digital display. They're inverter technology, which is nice because they can run on your standard 120 outlet and a 220 outlet. They come with the pigtail to hook it up and everything. They can run flux core, which is this is flux core. Essentially, when you burn it, it has the outer casing on it to keep the oxygen from hitting that weld right away. And then they also, you can buy the regulator and do the bottle. And the big thing about Yes Welder is, even though they're really unheard of, they have a really nice customer service. So you can call them and talk to them. You can call them, get information. You can call them and order your welder and the regulator, and they will help you out from day one. And I don't have a Yes Welder. I want to. It's on my list of things to do, but honestly, it's extremely hard to justify spending like Like to get any sort of Hobart now, you have to spend $800 on a brand new one, and it's really hard to justify that when you don't use it that much. So the Yes Welder now, and those other brands that nobody has really heard of, is taking they're decent brands if they have the backing behind them with the customer service. So being that that's the only brand that I can really tell you that I know has that customer service behind it, I would suggest that. Ultimately, though, all those machines are probably built by the same shop in China or Japan or wherever they come from. They're probably all mass produced and just branded differently. So that's the same way with these Harbor Freight suitcase style generators, right? There's 10 of them that look the same, they're just branded differently. It's all the same inside there. So the only thing you're going to get for the value of it, face value, is the ability to talk to somebody. So look up Yes Welder if you're really interested in a machine that's within, I want to say they're like $450 or more, which is relatively affordable for a machine that has all of those options. Especially at $450, you can do a couple little side hustles with it, and you can walk away breaking even on the machine, or keep doing it and make money on it. Go fix a couple trailers, go do whatever with it, and make your money back. It's just the welders I use at work, just for the power units, they're probably $3,000, and then you got the dual feeders and everything else. We're welding with probably $6,000 to $10,000 machines. They run off of not 120, not 220. They run off of 660 3-phase. So you could they have unlimited duty cycles. You could weld inch thick material all day long, and it wouldn't ever beg for mercy. So the industrial world is a lot different than your everyday world, and as far as businesses like Hobart and ESOB, that's where they want to be. They want to be making the big money, right? They want to sell 100 welders to a shop and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? The Joe Blow market is gone for them. So that's what I would say is check out Yes Welder and do your research. But really, if you're going to do exhaust work, this might be fine. But at this point, I want to say the price point of Harbor Freight has went up recently. I don't know what these cost, but I'm guessing $120 to maybe $175. And really, if you think about it, if you just doubled it, you'd get so much more for your money. And you might be able to even find one of those off-brand Chinese units on Marketplace for a really good deal, or ask around. Asking around is always great. You might find somebody that has one sitting there that never uses it. So that's my opinion is, yes, this is a welder. If you want to get really technical, it's not a welder, just in how the process of electricity flows through this machine. But if you want to stick two pieces of light gauge steel together, this will do it. So, all right, enough about that. Anyways, that's my takes on it. Hope you enjoyed.